Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the SAS. My name is Nikki Adamkowitz. I'm known as the Sassy Subber, and it is October 13th. Can you believe I just said it's October 13th? I do believe I said it was January 13th at some point in time in this year. Well, 10 months ago. Anywho, we are literally on the brink of that big holiday season, and I try to do this at least every year of things that you can do that are for stocking stuffers, grab and go, easy type of things. And with that said, the Sassy Nation has grown beyond sublimation over the last couple of years, and I've inquired embroidery people and laser people, and now we're just a really big eclectic group. So while, yes, I'm going to be touching on things that I have in the past, I'm going to be adding some new things that I've doing in my own shop and so much more. So there's going to be lots of layers and lots of little nuggets here for you to be able to go in and grab whatever it is you need to do. So let's just say hello to everybody in the comment section. I hope you guys are back to normal in Florida. I see that. Thank you so much, Florida, for checking in. As you guys know, if you are just tuning in live, it is a Sassy Subber. That's right, hashtag Sassy Subber. Lets us know that you guys are watching us live. And well, if you're catching us on the rewind, it's hashtag rewind, as always. Today, we are going to be starting off this series with a grab and go of this particular item right here. This, I know some of you are thinking, Nikki Bose, seriously? I know, but we're going to talk about some cute little details, how this is a great gift set for you to have and to use. But let's get over to the heat press first. As I make my way over to the heat press, let me do this. And it should have brought me up. Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are doing great. This is the view you guys are going to be seeing me from right now. I just need to move this so I can see from across the room and grab the water, because water is important when you're working next to a 400-degree heat press, right? And for those who are wondering, yes, it is Sunday. And yes, I did finally get dressed just for all of you to be able to do this show. So like I said, we're going to be doing this little gem right here. But before we get started, we have, that's right, the myth and the legend, Miss Jody behind the scenes today. She's back to the SAS. Make sure you guys say hello to Jody in the comments. She is back behind these scenes. So if you hear her voice come over the loudspeaker, so to speak, and asking questions because I don't see the comments on this side of the room, then you'll know who it is. So say hello to Jody in the comment section. And while I get everything, there we go. Now I have the phone where I needed to see. Woohoo! All right. So we're going to be doing some embroidery today. We're going to be talking about the things of why I do what I do. These are those felt. Let's pull them off. These are those felt clicky clack clips. As when I was little, we called these the clicky clacks. They click and clack. They're snap clip, but it was just a cool, fun name. So these are the felt clips, but guess what? You can sublimate on them. We have been making felt clips for eons, and I think people forget that they can customize their own felt fabric, or they can customize their own fabric for these type of projects. So let's move the camera down to where it needs to be. Hello to all of you. All right, here's the view. So these are going to be the things that you're going to need for this project. First and foremost, you will see that I have everything on this. Did it not flip over? Okay.
It did.
Okay. It's so lagged on my other camera. Okay. So this, I've been trying to include in anything that I have with the things that I've been providing lately, these little packaging cards so that you could go in and make your own packaging. And I'm going to pull this all off so you can see this, what it looks like without. So what I did before we get started was I just printed this off on some basic cardstock. So you got some basic cardstock. I put a slit here and here. Now, the reason why I'm not including the lines like I did on the Puppy Love one was because, well, we all kind of tie our knots a little bit differently. If I put it at where I think it should be, it's going to be wrong because you're going to have it different. and then there's going to be a line on your page. So what I do is I cut a line here and I cut a line here, and that's where I put that. I take the X-Acto knife and I put it to where I want to put these clips, and then I do it again for where I want to put the bow. But before we even get to that, let's talk about the stuff. So what you're going to need for this project, you're going to need these little rubber bands. I like the clear ones because they go with everything. You're going to need some felt. Now, can you use the craft felt? Yes, you absolutely can. I just get my felt by the bolt, or by the yard, I should say. And this is just simple craft felt. Now, is it a little bit thicker than the craft felt where you can get it by the sheets at the, the Michaels or the Hobby Lobby? Yes, it is slightly thicker. I do like the thicker part of it, just because I feel like they hold up better. So there's that. You're going to need some fold over elastic. When you take your fold over elastic and you cut it 13 inches. And I will talk to you guys about it when we go to press this, why I sublimate on the back and not the shiny side. But when you pull it off and you cut it, stretch it out so that when you go to put it on your paper to sublimate, it does go straight. So there you go. You're going to need your clickety-clack clips right here. They're called snap clips. You're going to need these. Now, if you're going to use the embroidery design that I will provide for you, that these are about I want to say they are 2 1/2. Nope, they're about 2 1/4. They're about 2 1/4. So you want to measure these and then know that you need to have your design, your embroidery design accordingly. Now, if you don't do embroidery, I'm going to talk to you guys about how you could still do this without doing embroidery, but we'll get to it. So again, your clickety-clack clips, want 2 of those. X-Acto knife, seam ripper, sharp pair of scissors. I thank Sheila Ryan for these. I got those from her. You're also going to need some bullet fabric and a ruler. Okay. And those are the things that you're going to need for this project. All right. You're also going to need a sublimation print or 2. And these designs that you see on here were ones that are part of these were papers that I had given you guys that I had made in AI that you could go download free at the sassysubber.com in the freebies section. So make sure you check those out. Now, I'm going to show you with this bow. Where's the bow? Where did I put it? I did not sublimate on the back side of this bow. You can leave it, but for this tutorial, I'm going to talk to you about some things of why you could, why you couldn't, and so forth. Let's clear off the slate. Okay. First things first, let's get this embroidery machine going. Now, with my embroidery machine, I am not using any stabilizer for this. Now, do you have to? Well, that's up to you. I choose not to use any stabilizer. I don't feel the need because the felt is really thick. And then I put 2 pieces. Now, here's the thing. Before we get it embroidered, we're going to go in and we're going to sub this first. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when you have to sub it afterwards. All right. So let's get this all going. Here's my, don't want to use those scissors. Those are the good ones. We don't use good scissors around here. All right. So let's sub the front and the back of this. Okay. Do you lint roll it? Yes, you can lint roll it. Absolutely. Am I going to? No. Okay. Fold my butcher paper in half. Protect the investment. Okay. So I'm going to stick this literally on the felt, and then we're going to put it over on the embroidery machine and get that embroidery going. But first, I want to sub it. Why are we going to sub it first? Well, I'm going to show you. So for this, I did these guys right here. I subbed these after the fact, and it kind of got squished. So you really want to be careful about what you are subbing with this. And basically, I tried subbing that whole sheet, and I ended up squishing it because there are different thicknesses of fabric. I had the bullet fabric, I had the hair tie, and I had these guys on there. And by doing that, I ended up squishing these. You don't want squish the heck out of me pressure on these. You still want them to be kind of fluffy, okay? So with that said, we're going to go in, and I'm going to show you the difference between the two. We're going to just do one side of it. Now I made my bleed very generous, just in case she slips, and because it's fabric and depending on how thick or how much I put pressure on it, it's going to spread. All right. And we don't want that to happen. Now, I will say, let's pop this real quick. Hold that. When you're cutting out your felt and you already have it embroidered, be very careful about cutting around your edges. Go slow. Now you're going to ask me, Nikki, I don't have an embroidery machine. Is this something that you could just make me a bunch of these felty clips and I can sub them? Yes, 100%. I can go in. I can sew these all up. I'll leave them all on the sheet. You will sit and cut them out, not me, because some people like a bigger border than I do. I like to go really nice and tight around these. Okay. I will tell you, I do use a lighter for this. And the reason I do is one, to kind of just get those edges all nice and cleaned up. And it kind of rounds it off. All right. That's how you would cut those out if you were going to do that. Now, could you, if you have a laser, could you cut these out in your laser and then embroider them? Yes, you could. Again, you're just going to want to make sure that they're big enough so that it can accommodate for the stitches. Now, I use a straight bean stitch on this one, all right, or triple stitch actually. So I use this. Do not use the squish the heck out of me kind of pressure on this. All right, we're going to pull these off. I'm going to use the same butcher paper for right now because there's clean spots and, well, we're not going to do waste knot. But I do have to change the pressure almost to a medium pressure. You don't want it to be super light either because you want it to go all over the whole thing. All right. Now that we have our felt pieces, I'm going to want to line them up the best that I can front to back. Okay, make sure they're in the same direction. And then what am I going to do? Put them in the embroidery machine. So here we go. Again, I don't use stabilizer. This is a little bit smaller. I probably could have done it a little bit bigger, but because I'm using my Mighty Hoop, I won't have too much of an issue. So we're just going to go like that. This is almost done before I go over to the machine. I've got the machine already set up. We're going to let it run. It'll take just a few minutes and I'll bring it back and I'm going to show you some things as to why I like to sub it first and then leave that there, and then do the embroidery. Okay, so let me put it over on the machine. And perfect. And we need number 5. Okay. While that's doing what it needs to do, we've already gone in and we've subbed on these guys right here. Again, I didn't use squish the heck out of me pressure on this. Now, felt will kind of stick to the paper, but it came out adorable, right? Now you're asking me, Nikki, how in the world could I do this? I don't have an embroidery machine. I don't want you to do it for me. Maybe I just kind of want to do it on the fly. Don't worry, I got you. Take your felt. Okay? You're going to take your clickety-clack clip. Okay? You're also going to take either a pencil, a felt marker. I'm going to see if my pencil is right here, because it's never where I want it to be, right? Because that's just the way life runs. Okay? I'm going to go in and I'm going to just gently trace all the way around it, okay? You can make yourself also a cardboard template, which would be the ideal situation, right? Go in and make a template, and I can see it, so it doesn't matter. All the way around it, okay? And then what you're going to do, don't go too close to the edge because you're going to glue it. You're going to want to sub this first because then you're going to want to glue them. Okay, all the way around. Ideally, you want to do these embroidery, but could you do them? Yes. Once you've got it subbed, right? We're going to go the right sides together where you can see it. You're going to go in. Now, here's a little bit of a pro tip that you can do. Maybe you want your cricketer silhouette to go ahead and cut these out for you. Did you know that you could take your felt, put it on contact paper, the sticky side, and the non-sticky side, stick that to your mat, tape it down your mat, and then your mat doesn't get all fuzzy with the felt. And then you could go in and cut out all the shapes that you want with your cricket or your silhouette. So let me go back through that again. You take contact paper, stick the felt to the sticky side of the contact paper. Then the non-sticky side of the contact paper, stick that to your mat. And then tape that down so that it all sticks together. Genius, right? And then you have a clean mat. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your glue. Now you can use hot glue, you can use super glue, whatever you want to use. It's completely up to you. Just know that you want a very thin, well, that came out fast, very thin line going all the way across, all the way around. You want it on this edge. Okay, sorry, I'm kind of out of the camera. My apologies. Okay, all the way around the edge. And then once you have got it subbed, lay it down, walk away and forget about it. Okay, so that's how you can make clippy covers if you don't want to sew them, if you don't want to do the thing. I totally get it. But if you can and you know somebody who's local, or if you want to have me do it, I can literally do a bunch of them on a big piece of felt. You'll just have to cut them out. But that's how you can do it with a no-sew method. Getting back to the sewing method. So as you can see, I have a bean stitch around the outside edge. I'm going to want to take my, hold please. Oh, stop. Okay. I'm going to want to take my seam ripper. Now with these, because these ones are particularly, these ones are sized for these little ones. As you can see, there's different size clicky clacks. So I'm going to want to go up and through here, right? You're going to want to come down to right about where those lines are. Be very careful putting this in, people. You want to feed it in so that you know that this little thing is between those two layers. Be careful and gently go. Now, I don't go all the way across because I'm afraid that I'm going to snag it. So I bring my scissors in and just clip. Come around and just, come on, clip. Then you take your clicky clack, slide it in. Y'all are going to call it clicky clacks now. I know you are. Slide this in and done. That was it. Now the one that we made, you do the same thing. Again, we're going to create that slit. And just because I happen to know right where it needs to go. Okay. Get your scissors in here. Now, could you use a regular sewing machine, Nikki? Yes, you absolutely can use a regular sewing machine for this. You do not necessarily need an embroidery machine to make these. The embroidery machine just makes it a lot easier. You will just slide this in. And, whoops, I slid it all the way down to the end because it wasn't dry. That's okay. Okay. And you would have a clicky clack. Okay. Again, if you can sew it, sew it. All right. Now, I've got the machine done, and I want to get up here, see if I can get up close to the camera. There's actually dots here in the design. I didn't do, you can see it better on this side. I didn't do the bean stitch or the triple stitch, whatever you want to call it. It depends on your program, right? I didn't. I wanted a nice decorative stitch on these, but you can't see it once you sub it. So really, if it's something you're going to sub and you got to have me stitch them out for you, and whatnot, you might want to use just a straight stitch and not any fancy stitches because, well, with the embroidery, it kind of fades away unless you're using a colored thread as like black. If remember, please keep in mind, if you use any colored thread other than black, your image is going to be subbed on that thread. So if you're using green, your image will be on the green. It'll be on any color. Navy blue, you might even see some shades and gradients on it because if you've got a dark spot. So word of caution, either use black if you want the decorative stitch and then you just want to sub it afterwards, or you do what I did. and you sub it first, and then you do that stitching. How stinking cute are those? But look, Mom, it's also on the back, okay? So the reason I did it on the back, just to kind of give it a more professional look. Could I have left it white? Of course, but we all know I'm extra, so it doesn't matter. Whoops. Okay. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go in here with a good pair of scissors. First things first, I like to get a lot of the bulk out of the way. Now, I'm going to go right between these two. That is about the width I'm going to want all the way around. So go very slow. Okay, not a race. Come up and around that same width all the way around your cookie clack. Okay, trim this. Okay, could you go in and use, again, your silhouette or Cricut, cut things first? Yes, absolutely you could, but you really don't have to. So I've already got it. Let's get it all prettied up. It rounds these edges off is really what this does, to be very honest with you. Okay. Be very careful when doing this and not around children. Okay. So now we're going to put that, because I know what I'm doing. I do, but I really just don't want to mess these up. I could have gone in with my scissors and just jabbed it in there. And I was like, yeah, maybe not. Okay. Come all the way. Go right to the stitch. Okay. Then we're going to get our large click clacks here. Slide it in. Slide it down. And there you go. You now have a cute, adorable click clack. Okay. Let's put this aside. Take all the mess, all the stuff, and let's go into round 2. Now, the next thing on our agenda is the fold over elastic. With the fold over elastic, you want to make sure, one, it's the right width of what you need. Okay. And 2, when it comes off the roll, it's curved. It goes this really weird, and let me see, I'll show you. When it comes off the roll, it does this weird curve, right? We need it to go straight, right? The best way to do that is to stretch it first. Okay, so cut off your 13 inches. This is for hair ties. Yes, I go over the edge. I will sit here and stretch it. Now let's talk about this for a second. If you do it on the shiny side, you can kind of lose details when the light hits it. So if you've got a lot of little details or wording, the best place to put it on is on the back side of it, the matte side of it. So while the shiny is pretty, and you can put it on both if you really want to, I'm just going to choose to put it. Now, this one is rather big. I know that it's big. I went in and modified it after the fact, but for the sake of this tutorial, we're just going to leave it be. We're going to tape down just the ends. Could you use like a Condi Pro spray? Could you use a basting spray? Absolutely, you can. Whatever you want to use, that would be most helpful. Again, we're just reusing bits and pieces of this butcher paper that I do have already because there's spots on it that are not messy. Okay, now I'm going to want to drop my pressure down and let it go. Next up, we're going to be talking about this bow. Now, a lot of people are going to have heart failure with this bow because you think, well, I can't make a bow. Yes, you can. It takes 3 rubber bands to make a bow. That's it. 3 rubber bands. Okay. So you're going to get your fabric. I cut mine 5 inches. I have cut all of these 5 inches. These are how I make my hair tie bows that you guys have seen in past tutorials. But now we're going to make what we call a sailor bow because it has the tails. When you look at the tails, I'm going to tell you about another project too. So just for giggles, I'm going to go in here. Okay. And I'm going to lay my fabric. Now, I want this to be the back side of my fabric. I'm just going to lay it over the top. Kind of bring it down. And then that's where I'm going to cut it. So my circle is a half of a circle. Okay, this design is a half circle that is about 4 3/4 tall by just over, I want to say it's just over 10 inches wide. Give me 1 second. I will give you the exact measurements. Yep, it's almost about 10.5 inches wide. Okay, so you want a half circle, 10 inches wide by about 4 3/4. Okay, so I'm going to do the backside first. Why am I doing the backside first? Because things off gas. And for me, I would rather, if it's going to off gas, I'd rather it off gas on the back, not on the front. I want the front to be really rich and vibrant in color. So I'm going to do the backside first. Same holds true for flags, by the way. Do the backside first and then do the front. Okay. Yes, you will get off gassing. It's inevitable. Okay, let's change this paper. Whoop, hold on. Almost just threw that away. Let's take that out. Let's get this on the press. Fold my paper because I'm going to be doing 2 things. All right. So this is the back side. This is actually the bow. Okay. Again, we're going to do the back side. It's okay that you have extra because you're going to be trimming it up. And really, when you're trimming things up, you don't want to have to worry about a lot of things. Okay, so grab your good scissors. Could you pre-cut these ahead of time? Absolutely, you could have. Now, what I am going to do is I am going to use my handy dandy basting spray. This stuff right here. Spray it on. Back side, lay it down, and there you go. So yes, you can use the basting spray. I have been using it for months now. Actually, we're going to go like this, and we're going to go like this, and I forgot to put a sheet on the top. Oh boy. Okay, that's okay, but I'm not picking it up. Lesson learned. Make sure you make your burrito. Make sure you go through the steps of your sublimation burrito. Butcher paper, transfer, or butcher paper, your substrate, transfer, butcher paper. And I forgot because I was talking. You know what? It happens. It absolutely does. What is going to be the problem that could possibly happen afterwards is that it can off gas or bleed through the paper and go up to my top platen, where I just have now an unprotected top platen. Don't worry. It's not the end of the world. On my next project, I'll make sure I put my butcher paper so that it'll off gas onto that butcher paper and kind of clean itself. When it is cool and I have no more projects, I could go in with some LA Awesome, just clean off the heat press, and it will be as bright as rain. So if you've done just what I've just done, it does happen. It happens to all of us, really. Okay, so here is that hair tie. Let this, woo, look at the color. She's color. Okay, let that sit there. Look at that. That's from the, and it didn't do anything in my print, but that's from all of the basting spray because I didn't hold it correctly. All right. And then here's our light green. I went with 2 different colors just so you could kind of see what it will look like on the back side of this bow. Okay. We went with a light color. Do we want a light color? Do we want a dark color? Do we want to just leave it white? So here's your hair tie. Again, I did it on the non-shiny side of the hair tie. You're going to take both ends, wrap them around your fingers, go through between your fingers, and just knot. Now, what I will do is I will take out my handy dandy ruler here, and I will try to make sure that mine are all about 3.5 inches from the knot to the end. Okay. And then that's where I will sit there, tighten that up right at that mark. Still making sure it is 3.5 inches. Go in and trim. Not my fingers. Then I will also go in with my lighter and seal the deal. Seal this up. on both ends. You do the same thing to ribbon too, okay? And now we have the cute little hair tie to go with it all. So let's put this with our little stash of things, okay? Now we have to do the other side of this fabric, right? But you're like, Nikki, how is it going to line up? Well, this is where you're probably going to want to go in and cut it, okay? So first we're going to go in, we're going to give it a little trim around the edge. I'm going to get the good scissors out because you can use a rotary knife or fabric cutter, whatever you want to use. I'm just using my hands because, well, when you go to make these tails, it's not going to be perfect anyway. Okay. Then I'm going to go in, and you could go in and you could do a straight cut on this using your rotary cutter if you want. But again, if you don't have this stuff, because there's a lot of people who don't, just go in and trim it. Okay. Okay. Turn that off. Don't worry. We're going to do the other side. Move this out of the way. Whoops. We don't want to cut that. All right. Then we're going to go in and trim this up. Flip. Flippy dippy around. And we're going to trim this up. Now, remember, all the patterns you're finding here are the free patterns that I have at thesassysummer.com that I've been giving away. Last week, I gave away a bunch of files for you guys to use, whether you're in embroidery, whether you're in laser, wherever you are in your journey in your crafting world for your business. There are some free stuff in there because we all like a little bit of free things every now and then. Okay, get rid of that. Flip it around. Again, you can use a straight edge and a rotary cutter. Oops, there we go. Okay, now we have the other part of our design, and that is the decorative side. Cut out my paper. Now we're going to do the other side. So this guy needs to be here. We're going to tape it down. Okay. A little bit more tape. And then we're going to do the same for this side. You can always trim this up after the fact once you do both sides. Now, do you have to do it as a square or as a half round? No, you can do it as a square if you want. You don't have to do the half round. The only reason I do it is because then I could kind of figure out where I want the design to go and make sure it's hitting all the points that I want it to. I will be providing these templates for you to use to go in and make your own. They'll also be down in the download section, the free section of the sassysummer.com page. All right, so now that I've got it all taped, flip her around, make sure she's all flat. Grab the butcher paper. Drop it down, let it do its thing. So like I said, when we're doing this, we have this where it's all white on the back. Now, for this particular one, it would be absolutely gorgeous to leave it as a white background because it has white in it. But what if you're playing with a design? It doesn't have to be a holiday theme, but what if you're playing with a design that is full color? You might want to do a coordinating color on the backside or the same color as the background color, whatever it may be. So if you have a tan background, do a tan underneath. Same holds true, green, red. This way it kind of coordinates, it kind of goes away, and then you don't necessarily see the white spots of the fabric, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, we're going to be doing these things I'm going to be doing things during the week and on the weekend for the next couple weeks. And they're going to be your grab and go, your stocking stuffer items. So it's not just going to be just here for the sass. It may be a sassy mini like I did with Claire's stuff yesterday. Or it could be a full tutorial like today. Okay. We're going to pull this off. Now, look at that. She's pretty. Now, what does that green backing do? It makes these colors pop a little bit more. It gives it a backing to it, right? So now let's go in and make the bow. First things first, it's not just a half circle, it's actually the tails. What you're going to want to do is have your straight edge against you, your round up at the top. You're going to go and you're going to gather because it is 4.5, almost 4.5 inches or more. You're going to want to go up 4 times. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Pinch. Grab your rubber band. With it still being pinched, take your rubber band and bring this through. Flip this out. Twist it. Flip it back through. Twist it one more time for good luck. So we're going around 3. Okay. Why do I like to use rubber bands? Because I can manipulate this. Now, I want to show you something that I was thinking about because I'm that person that when you look at the clouds, you see other shapes. I am that person. So let's get this centered. And that's why I can sit here and I can center it a little bit easier. If you're doing a wood project, these make really pretty angel wings. You can print angel wings. They don't necessarily have to be feathers. You could starch this if you want to. So you have a nice starched fabric. But you could also make it out of felt. If you take a half round, whatever it may be, any stiff fabric, you can make yourself angel wings. And that's exactly what that looks like. So there you go. If you ever wanted to make some quick angel wings and put a wood little thing in it, there you go. It can also work as puppy ears. Again, I see things differently than most people. I can see people out in clouds. So there you go. There's your tails. Now for this part, you want to, so your half is here, right? You want to come in where that half is. So if your halfway point, and we're just going to do a finger press, is right here, you want this to come in just slightly over half. Okay. And then you're going to flip it over again. Okay. So this is what it looks like on the back. Now, I could go and leave it just like that, but here's a pro tip for you. These little ends are going to poke out once you gather it up. So what I like to do is take both ends, and with my little handy dandy pair of scissors here, make sure I'm trying to get that as even as I possibly can. I want to go in and I want to start down a little bit low and come up and then go right around to the other side and come up. Okay. So I want it to basically be that shape at the end, because when you go to put the bow together, you're not going to end up with those things poking out. So this is the general shape you want. Now, could you sub that shape? Yes. Yes, you can. So we're going to bring this over. Bring it over again. All right. So now they're not going to be poking through. Flip her over. Might want to make it just a touch bigger. There we go. These just have to be folded. So if this is 4 inches, it has to be a 4-inch bow. Where's my ruler? Oh, 4.5. There we go. Look at this go. Okay. So, okay. Again, it's about 4 inches wide. You want to go about 4 pleats, right? Whatever the width is how many gathers. So let's double check my math. Nope, it's 3.5. So you want to double check. So you're going to want to go up 3 at least. So 1, 2, and then 3. 3 gathers. Okay. Because it's 3 inches, go 3 gathers. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Your bow's done. Okay. The bow itself is actually done. Stretch, pull this out just a little bit to make it even. Check your pleats. Done. Okay. So now you have that. Now we're going to take this guy right here, and he is actually going to get put up against here. Again, rubber band it. The only reason why I'm going to do the rubber band, do you have to? No, you don't have to do this third step of the rubber band. You could just go in and put the center in. For me, I like just it to be a little bit more stable while I am tying that center piece on. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to come up through and I'm only going to do 2 on this one because there's already so much on here. Okay. And this way I know that they are going to just kind of sit there. I'm not going to have to fight with it. I'm just going to move this rubber band over. They're all stacked on each other. Okay. There. So again, we did 1 rubber band for this one, 1 rubber band for this one, and then I did 1 for the 2. Okay. So there's 3 rubber bands in on this. Fluff, fold, you got yourself a bow. Okay. That's what you want to do. Now, I want to get some of my fabric, but I only want a white center. Now, the white center that I want, I don't want it to be too big. I like a nice thin center. So I'm going to come out basically the width of my ruler. Okay. And that's about an inch or so, right? Give or take. Okay. Then you're going to take it, stretch her out, roll, roll. Okay. This is why I like having it put together. If it wasn't put together, I wouldn't be able to do it. So you're going to roll them together. You're going to turn it around. Look how pretty that looks with that. You're going to take your hair clip. Okay. Before we get doing that, you're going to take your hair clip, pop this thing out. These are called French hair clips. Okay. You're going to lay this down. You can glue this if you so choose. You're going to take this and you're going to tie it on. And I mean tight. Okay. Slide this back where you want it. Bring the tails up and above this. This is why you're going to want to glue it. I'm just not gluing it for the tutorial because just in case I have to pull this thing apart, right? So everything is where it needs to be. I'm fixing my tails. Then you're going to want to go in, take your tails, clip them, and glue them. So you're going to want to clip them back to about here. All right. And then you're going to want to do it. Put your little thingy back in. Come on. It's because I can't see what I'm doing. Okay. Close it. Flip it. And just like that, you have the cutest little sailor bows with the tails for this holiday season. Now, look what we've made with that, okay? You are going to be able to present this like this. You got your little card. You're going to put your slots in there. You're going to take this guy. You're going to measure right where he needs to go. We're going to put him in here. All in on the materials cost, you're maybe $2 in. You are maybe $2 in because you have to buy yards of this stuff. So when it breaks it down, all in to make the whole thing is about $2, if that. Okay. So now you have this. Now I do have this clickety clack. We're going to put him up here. Okay. We're going to cut this one out real quick. What could you sell them for? You could sell these from anywhere from $10 to $15 easily. This is a great set that you don't have to personalize if you don't want to. Sloan said he is winning this race today. There we go. Okay. You don't have to go in and personalize these. Could you? Absolutely. And we'll talk about that. So it doesn't have to be holiday related. This just happens to be because that's what we're working on, right? These are great white elephant gifts, grab bag gifts, that kind of thing. So let's go in and put this piece. Where did my thingy go? There it is. Weasel my way in here. Make sure I can feel it between the two. Okay. Scissors. right there. Come in, give a little snip, give a little snip, and then open your click clack, slide it down, nice and snug. Put it in here. Okay. Now let's talk about this. For personalization point of view, if you are an embroiderer, yes, you can go in and you can custom make fabric and then you can add names afterwards and the border like I did there. Absolutely 100% you could do that. If you're not an embroidered person, but you get the blanks for me, so to speak, right? Because you really want to do this. You can go in and then you can sub their name on the center. You can make this guy into having a whole bunch of that child's names all over that bow. The same holds this, monograms, names, special things that they love, birthdays, whatever it may be, whatever they're into. This is a great holiday set. A lot of bang for their buck. It has a great presentation to it. I'm going to put the two bows side by side so you can see what they look like. Now, do you see what I mean by how the color deepens this? Because this has a dark background, this one looks more white and bright. This one, right? Look at that. It darkens that bow up. It kind of almost, depending on how you look at it, looks deeper, right? I don't want to say it looks dirty because I don't think that's the word I'm looking for, but it definitely has a deeper color. It might be hard to see on the camera. Let's see if I can't bring this up. You definitely could tell that that's got a color behind it. So if it's got a white background, leave this white. If it's got a navy blue background, make this navy blue and it goes away. You don't see the harsh edges of it. And you still have two absolutely darling looking bows, no matter which way you slice it and dice it. Now, I picked green just so that you guys could see what it looks like. But I probably, if I were going to, and this had a background, I would have gone with the lightest one I could find so that these would still pop and this doesn't look so deep and rich in color in the white sections. You know what I'm saying? So I would have gone with that. I would have just left it white for this particular one. But if it has a light color, go with the light color. All right. What do we think so far? Aren't these gorgeous? This is a great idea for Christmas, birthdays. This just happens to be a Christmas one that I'm working on. Again, you can go in and you can have them where they're like this. Let me show you a blank one. Okay. I thought I had a blank one here. Maybe I don't. You could have gone in and stitched it after the fact. So again, press and then stitch and Beautymas, okay? Or you can stitch them first, sublimate the whole thing, and then sit and cut them out. Again, Beautymas, right? Everything is Beautymas. But when at the end of the day, take this off. Here's my, you can see how stinking cute they are. And if you get yourself some metallic thread, for those who are in the embroidery world, and you get yourself some metallic thread and add a little bit of spice to this. And these little dots kind of remind me of the bling string Sheila Ryan is doing over at Designs by Baby Moon, which this would pair perfectly with a bracelet. And now you got a whole set. It's a beautiful thing. So if you're looking for more fun tutorials, I have last year or 2 years ago, I did 20 things under $20 that you could sell. Well, this year we're up in the ante. We're going to be doing embroidery and laser and sublimation in the dash and stash type things that you can buy, stocking stuffers, whatever it is you want to use them for is completely up to you. These are good for all year round, not just for holiday gift giving. For more fun tips, make sure you guys head over to my YouTube channel at The Sassy Subber. Also, you can find my designs at The Sassy Subber on Etsy and on thesassysubber.com. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all real soon. You know where. On the flip side, of course.